Hello, Salt Strong Nation. Joe Simons, like Diamonds, back again. We're talking about smart fishing spots. Got even smarter. Got my boy Nick. Got Luke. What's up, guys?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Well, I'm pumped. So we've got some new 4K satellite views. If you don't know what 4K is, there's some companies out there that sell 4K maps for specific areas and can get really, really expensive. But we are doing it for free. It's complimentary, part of the Smart Fishing Spots app, and a really comprehensive system. And this takes satellite maps to a whole new level. I think most of us are familiar with, Google satellite maps. They've been out there, for now a couple decades, and they work great. But there are some areas that don't look so hot, right? Depending on the cloud coverage, and sometimes there's massive glares, and sometimes it's just not very crisp. And so we have been working behind the scenes on finding some satellite views that really take it to the next level. It is 4K, and it looks, it kind of reminds me of when you go back and look at, old school TVs, like the old tube TV before we had high def, and you're like, how do we used to watch sports games on TVs like this? And it is, I mean, it's so much different. So we got Nick on. Anytime we have something new like this, we want to share it with all of you. Obviously, I know a lot of you listen who are members, and of course, you'll now see this in your Smart Fishing Spots app, whether you're on phone or tablet or your laptop, desktop. And if you're not a member, what the heck are you waiting for? This is just complimentary. This is one more thing that we're giving to our members right now just for signing up. And the prices will be going up in some point here in the near future for obvious reasons. But once again, this is something that we're giving complimentary at no cost to our members right now. And once you get it, it's yours. We're never going to charge for it. So sign up now at saltstrong.com. Nick, I'm going to hand it over to you. I know you have a couple examples that we are going to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what we'll do here is just go into satellite view. So right now, this is Google's view. This is Google satellite view. Everyone's familiar with that. And what we've done is we've added a couple more options. So we have the high-res satellite view, and then we also have the Bing satellite view that I'm sure other people are familiar with.
That's
and
nice.
The nice thing is having all three options so that you can really get different perspectives from each one. But this high-res view, so I just enabled this, and you can just see already just from this vantage point. Now I haven't zoomed in yet, but I'm just going to toggle it back and forth.
Look at
and you
that.
can see how much more detail.
It's a game changer.
It's
Absolute
a game changer for sure.
You can see everything.
And as you zoom in, you can actually start seeing like prop scars and the grass flats and stuff. And so here's Google's view. And I'm gonna toggle back on and just look at the detail in that cut right there. I don't know if you can see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this also is the first time I've ever seen one platform have map imagery that's completely overlaid in one platform. And so Nick mentioned he has Bing already loaded and
exactly. So here's Bing's view, which is not as good in this region. And then I can go back to high res view and everything just pops. You can really see
the clarity on, like, you can see every little pothole.
I've caught a lot of fish in that cut. See that cut right in the middle of the screen? When I was living over there, I caught a lot of snook and redfish.
This area. Yeah, and that's the cool area is you can back these the marine chart down. You can see the depths. We've got 7 feet, 5 feet, 0 feet right on the bank. And here's a little so you can see your 5 feet.
And then for those who don't know, stay in that spot too. For those who don't know about the oyster bar feature too, if you scroll up, Nick, and highlight the oyster bars, you're going to see all those oyster bars just pop.
Exactly right there. Yeah. It's hard to see it over the satellite, but there's the oyster bars. You can go like this.
So if you're listening and wondering, man, what are they so excited about? Basically, Nick is hitting one little toggle button inside of the Smart Fishing Spots app, and we're obviously on desktop as we're recording this, and he hits high res satellite, which is kind of this 4K view, and all of a sudden it looks like you're looking at two completely different screens, but it's obviously the same area. I mean, it goes back to that TV analogy. It's like a 4K on a TV versus the old school 1980s tube TV. It is night and day difference in the clarity and the resolution. That is nuts.
And just know that the same thing is available on your phone too. When you're logged in, you have access to all this stuff on your phone. It looks just as clear. And the cool thing is we're on the water. I've been using this. When I'm on the water, I can click this little, I'm not going to do it because I'm not down there, but I can click this little icon. It'll show a little point on exactly where I am. So that way I can see where I am in relation to either an oyster bar I want to fish, or a depth change, or even a pothole. Like it is crazy how detailed this stuff is. It is, again, something I wish that I would have had years ago when exploring new areas.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this area right here. So on Google's satellite view, you can't really see anything on that drop off. And as soon as I enable it, look, you can see that grass, the bed of grass down underneath there where these boats were. See right there, and they're driving right by it. Actually, you can see they're missing it. But then, like the prop scars, you can see all this. It's just an extreme amount of detail. All right here, see all right here, it just doesn't look that clear. And then now it's all brought back.
And all in one platform that's accessible from whatever device you have. This is the first I've ever seen of anything like this. This has really been cool to watch grow.
Yeah.
And this is all over the place too. We're going to do some other examples. Now, I said it in the very beginning, there are some mapping companies, we're not going to call them out by name, but they sell for just an area, like a territory of, let's just say Clearwater to South Tampa. They'll sell this same type of 4K map, if you will, for $100. The cost for our membership right now for a whole year is 190. It's less than $100 actually. It's only 97. And this is just one of the many things that we give you, and we do have the ability to export a lot of the stuff out to your unit. We're going to have a whole lot more here as the year progresses. But you throw on the discounts and the on the water reports we're literally doing every single day in the private community and all the courses. And I mean, if you're not a member yet and you're still wondering, hey, what's behind the scenes? I mean, the stuff that even the podcast and the stuff we're putting out there on YouTube for the public, that's just our free stuff. That's the stuff that's just, it's out there. We save all the best. We have over, I think, 1,200, private videos now that are just for our members, every single cheat sheet you can imagine. And when you throw in this, this kind of proprietary software that takes in every app possible, now has everything from oyster bars and seagrass in this crazy 4K view. And then we have the 3D underwater view as well. If you missed any of the prior podcast, maybe we'll highlight that towards the end. I mean, it's just game-changing stuff. This literally changes everything we know about pre-trip planning. And because it's all about saving time. We're busier than ever before as human beings. And we value our time, I think, more than ever before. And that's what this is all about. It's saving you time. And now with gas prices up quite high, regardless even if you're in a kayak, you still got to drive to that spot. We want to help you eliminate the wasted time. And I've never seen anything that does it like this. And this new high res stuff is sick. So, all right, Nick, I've talked enough. Where are we now? You moved around a little bit.
Yeah, we are. I don't even know what this area is. Cape Fear area, Wilmington, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Oh, Wyatt used to live there in Wilmington.
That's right. So yeah, I mean, here you can see Google satellite view. There's a lot of reflection in the water and even some of the wakes of the boats and stuff. But enabling this, it really clears it up, and you can see like this little point right here, this little shoal, I guess that is. Can't really see much, and then you enable it, and you can see just a lot more detail on these creeks and the beds of these rivers, mouths of these rivers.
What does Bing look like in these areas?
So here's Bing, not as good as the high res. Still, yeah, it's a lot of dark, not much detail. You can't even see that island. See right there? Remember we highlighted that earlier? And then here it is right there. So go back to Bing, and it's not even there. So you'd miss it. And that could be a pretty good spot right there, especially with this creek right there.
Yeah, it seems like for the areas like this where there's a lot of kind of marshland and the water is generally less clear, they go through the imagery and find a low tide imagery with good clear landmarks and they use that. So you can see this is definitely low tide. You can see all those creeks in there. You can see the edges of them. So the edges of the creek shoreline. Whereas the Bing in the Google, that was just taken just at a random point in time. You have to get lucky. You really can't see anything at all there with Bing.
Is that what they do, Luke? They purposely find the low tide?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, just from looking in different areas, doing the weekend game plans every Friday. I'll pick, based on member suggestions. I pick different spots, a lot of which are in the Carolinas and Georgia, even some Virginia. And it seems like that's been the case where it's you obviously can't see in the water because the water's murky, but every situation I've looked at, you can see a lot of the creek shorelines that you can't see in other ones. And you can even see some of the creeks that are dried up altogether. So very, very helpful for making sure that you don't get stuck in a bad situation, go too far up a shallow creek, can get into yeah, you can see that right there, that Elizabeth River.
Yep. Yeah,
you
that's what I was looking
at. The edges, and you can see the middles deep. Obviously you have the marine chart as well, that you can actually see the depths, but yeah, this imagery is really helpful. The cool thing is you can actually see a lot of exposed rocks and oysters in many cases. That are exposed at the low tides. A lot of these places have 6 foot tides, and there's a lot of bottom structure that gets exposed on those low water levels. And if you can just see it on the map here with just a couple scrolls and a couple taps of the button, it saves a ton of on the water time learning the hard way, like we used to have to do.
Nick, what happens when you zoom in even more, like to specific little islands on this high res stuff?
Right now I'm zoomed in all the way.
Okay.
But we're actually looking into making it so you can zoom in further.
Still so crazy.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, and the benefit of our app style, or it's the web app, is that this doesn't bog down your phone too. This is obviously a ton of data, a ton of files. We're hosting it on our own, and so the phone or computer is just accessing the stuff that we're hosting.
Yeah, the difference between Bing and the high res is huge. Look at that.
Look at that.
That looks like coffee.
And if you guys, it does look like coffee. If you guys are listening, you definitely need to go watch this. I mean, this is nuts. Even just watch this first few minutes of we're toggling back and forth on this 4K high res versus Bing versus Google. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's not even close. The high res is just next level. They've it's a better image taken at a better time, and it looks like they go and highlight different things to make it really pop.
So cool. Nick, if you can, I mentioned earlier this kind of underwater 3D topography. If we can find, it might be that one right there, any kind of inlet or pass.
Yeah, so we'll just stay in this area. So this is Southport area. I won't go into too much detail, but here's some ledges right outside that port.
That's sick.
That is
I don't want to give too much away. So but that's one area. There's a lot more. All these ledges are highlighted here.
Yeah, just so listeners know, or viewers, is that you can see these ledges, whether you're on phone or desktop. It's easier to do on desktop, but I'll get down to the lowest level. I've been finding a lot of good spots off of St. Pete, and I'll get down to the lowest level, and you can do a route. And so I just tap on each of the ledges and just follow the ledge, and then I can import that into my GPS and then go out and fish those exact ledges. It is amazing.
Yeah, and it works inshore too. So this is that port as you're leaving there. So everything inshore works as well.
And you can see that channel, everything in there.
But yeah, going back to Luke's point, we've got a routes tool. So you can go in here, you can create a new route. You can just kind of click through and make your route as you want to. And then from there, you can save it and export it, and you can import it into your GPS device.
You can see all the GPS latitude and longitude points there. And we did it in in our bait boat. It was a calm day, and Luke spent a little time that morning as my dad and I drove over, and he's like, all right, I got all the points, so let's go see what happens. And we caught a ton of fish. And that was 12, 15 miles out, and all from just random little ledges that we found using this shaded underwater relief. It's crazy. And we were right on it, right, Luke? I mean, obviously you're exporting these GPS numbers from the Smart Fishing Spots app, and you're hoping you're going to be close. A lot of people say, how accurate is it? We were, when it said we were on top of it, we're now looking at our real fish finder, and we're right on top of a legit ledge. It was crazy accurate.
Yeah, and we set up under the config settings, there's a way you can change your GPS format. So whatever device you use, you just choose the format and it'll import right into it. You can even change the distance format if it's statute miles or nautical miles. We're constantly adding to that part too.
So cool.
Yeah, this platform has started out awesome, and now it's just flat out amazing. There's nothing else that comes close because it's obviously helpful for pre-trip planning, but it's just as helpful. I would even argue more helpful when you're on the water as well. As long as you have access to internet service, you can literally see exactly where you are relative to the spots you want to check out, and it has been so helpful for finding oyster bars and stuff like that at higher tides.
Yeah, and keep in mind, you still have all the weather data too. So what I just did is I dropped a marker, and this gives me the forecast, the wind forecast for that spot. You can see that little red dot. So then down here, you can still drag through the forecast. You can get the date and the time here of when you're going to be fishing, and it'll update and show you what the winds are expected to be. And
Nick,
it'll do it not just, yeah.
do you mind showing how you did that? Because I've seen a few people in the community have asked, "Hey, how do I drop a marker and find out?"
Yeah, so right here, it's called Weather Picker. There's a little icon. You just click on that, and the same thing on your phone. You just tap on it, and then you tap on the area of interest, and it drops the marker. And on desktop, you can just drag this around to areas you want to check. And on your phone, it's kind of the opposite. You move the map around because it stays in one spot. It's a better mobile experience that way. And then while that's sitting there, once you have that spot, you can go back to your weather and you can change it to waves or cloud coverages, 25% cloud coverage at that time. If there's any rain accumulation, looks like it's not going to rain much, and wind. And then you can also back up and get your map view.
So cool. That's also a quick way just to get your GPS coordinates.
Exactly, too. Yeah. So if you're kind of checking out spots, you can do that, and it'll give you the coordinates.
And then on the bottom little scroll area, you can go. I don't know how many days it goes out. But I usually plan in like 3 days out, like within 3 days. But you can go by hour, for the next at least few days, and then the forecast, whatever forecast you have selected, will be updating accordingly. I use that a ton to know the wind. Like if I want to go fishing, tomorrow or the next day, I'll just look at the wind forecast every hour, just to know what's going on. Same for waves.
Yeah, here's waves, and then even swell. So the swell would be what the waves are at right at the shoreline. So a lot of people that are fishing from the beach, they want to check out what the surf conditions are like. You would use swell, then waves, and then currents as well. Swell. I mean, guys are going offshore. You want to check your current and your wind direction, so you know how to set your anchor heading. It's all right there, and then you can do that, when you're viewing your map, and your satellite view, your high res view.
Ooh, boy,
did all at the same time.
So crazy. All right, there's another new thing up there as well. Boat ramps. That's something that's been asked quite a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let me show that. Let me get this current off here. Go back to when. Yeah. So underneath satellite view, you're going to see a new, so we've got the smart spots, the oyster beds, seagrass, and now we just added boat ramps. And we'll just zoom into an area here. Let this load. A little closer. Okay, here we go. So when you click on the boat ramp, it'll have these little red markers, and then it'll give you all the information that we have for that boat ramp. And that includes what the dock type is, what the parking surface. This one looks like it's gravel, sand, and dirt. Even has parking condition. Looks like this one needs a little bit of repair. There's 15 trailer parking spots. There's a portalet restroom, and even tells you the water. That's particular spot is saltwater. So what we did is based on, let's go up to Georgia, maybe see what they got in Georgia.
And we've had a request. I'll just address it for, kayak launch. We're working on something for that next. It's going to take a little bit longer, but this is where we start, and there's a ton of boat ramps in here.
Exactly. Yeah. So we imported, I don't know how many, tens of thousands of boat ramps from Texas all the way over up to Virginia. I think the only one we're still working on is South Carolina. But any data that's associated with the boat ramp, it'll list it. Like this even tells you what fish are caught in that area.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was what Georgia did for their, if there's a pump out. And then what we've done on every boat ramp is we included directions, a button for directions. So you click on that, it'll open up Google Maps with directions on how to get there. So yeah, the next thing is going to be kayak launch points, and that'll be crowdsourced. So our members can identify where they like to launch, and there'll be a way to comment and talk about the conditions and that sort of
thing. Awesome.
Very slick, dude.
Yep.
Very slick. All right. Well, guys, if you want to get access to this, it's complimentary, as I said, to all of our Insider Club members. Got about 34,000 members now, and it's, you can imagine, grown like crazy because of the introduction of this smart fishing spot system. And if you're not a member, what the heck are you waiting for? Seriously, go to saltstorm.com right now, join. You'll get instant access to this. You can put it on, it's got instructions to get it on your phone, any type of phone. You can put on your tablet, your desktop, and it's unlimited use of all this stuff. And as I said, I mean, just those individual areas for both the 4K satellite view and the underwater 3D topography, just for an area, like for your region, would cost you $100 to $200 each for those two things. We give it to you for free anywhere you possibly go. And that's just two of the things that this app does. It's literally amazing. And the whole backstory, if you missed it, is we had a post in our Facebook group. Someone had said, hey, how many apps do you use to go fishing? And the minimum was 4, right? And we're talking wind, tides, satellite maps. And what was the other one that was common? Tides, obviously.
Fishing forecast, just the whole gamut.
And then it went all the way up to like 18, or one person had 20, and Bill DeWeese said like 16. I'm like, man, why as anglers are we having to go to 16? And that's pretty extreme. But even if the average is 7 or 8, why are we having to go to 8 different places to get the information? I guess radar was another one that came up a bunch. Obviously, you want to be able to see that on top of wind. And we're like, so let's take everything in. Nick showed, if you're listening, Nick was showing the radar that's all up to date. And now, obviously, everything you can imagine in terms of weather. And we teamed up with Windy, who I believe probably has the best, wind app out there. So it's overlaid with Windy as one of the other layers you can put on top. And obviously, we have every tide station, now every boat ramp, and we're literally trying to bring in everything you could possibly imagine with from all the feedback we heard from anglers. So and if there's something we're missing, let us know. We have made this smarter over the last couple of months, just from feedback from members. And then the other really exciting piece is the smart spots, which is how this whole platform got its name. And we haven't even showed that here in this little tutorial, but with smart spots, it actually starts predicting the best fishing spots. So if you remember, like the old school physical maps, like the spot maps, they're great. It's helpful, right? But those spots on those spot maps haven't moved in like 40 years, right? The same Tampa Bay hotspot map that you buy today is the same one they were selling 40 years ago. The spots haven't moved, but fish are moving every day. So our spots are smart, meaning they literally start moving and shifting every day, every week. They get hot if it's going to be a hot bite in an area, and they can go all the way down to where they're non-existent. And it's updating every single season versus every 40 to 50 years. Pretty phenomenal. And we're getting some just amazing testimonials about these smart spots. So Nick's showing them right now.
No more secrets out there. It's all available. Everybody's on even playing field. This is it's just been super helpful.
Yep. Yeah. Well, not everyone's on a playing field. Only people that have access to this.
True.
They have a distinct advantage. So that's it. Unless you guys have anything else, we'll let you get back to playing in smart fishing spots or go getting it. Once again, complimentary. This is something that we know we could charge hundreds of dollars for per year. And at least for right now, we're giving it complimentary. And once you're in, even as an insider member, maybe some of you don't know this, but once you lock in your annual rate, which right now is, as we're recording this, is $97, we are going to be raising it. But once you lock it in, you've locked it in for life. So unlike Costco or Amazon, who over time raises prices for everyone across the board, we grandfather our people in. So our members, we like to be loyal to them if they come in early enough, where once you get a rate, you're locked into that rate for life, and anything you're promised, you get for life. So if you get in today at $97, that's going to be your price even 8 years from now. And you also have smart fishing spots for free, even if we're charging $400 a year at that time. So it is such a steal. We've made it a complete no-brainer, and I hope that you will go sign up right now at saltstrong.com if you haven't already. And then finally, give us feedback. Once you're in there, we know it's an app, right? It's software. Everything can always be slightly improved, or if you see a specific area where something doesn't look right with the shading or whatever it might be, let us know. We're constantly working on this to make it better and make it smarter. So definitely let us know.
Yeah, we even set up an area where you can quickly send feedback within the system itself.
So cool. All right, guys, we'll go check it out right now. Smart fishing spots. If you're a member, just go to saltstrong.com. You'll see it right there on how to download it right to your phone or your computer. And if you're not, just go to saltstrong.com, not logged in because you're not a member yet, and join today. Click join the Insider Club, and we will love to see you in there. Love to see you in the community. And we love seeing all these testimonials of how the Smart Fishing Spots app is helping you save tons of time and putting you in the feeding zone. Luke, Nick, this was an excellent little presentation off the fly here, but I knew as soon as I saw that this past week, I was like, all right, we got to do a podcast on this, because I talked to a few members and they're like, I didn't even know you guys had it yet. I was like, come on, get in there and check this sucker out. So more improvements coming soon, and we'll do a podcast on some of the new features as well.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Continuous improvement.
Whoop, whoop. All right, everybody. Appreciate you big time, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.
See you guys.